interest rates dropped probably 2% to 1.5% to 2%, post-COVID almost, or pre-COVID, whatever mark you want to put. So for almost everyone in this room, it's been a very large benefit whether you're mom and pop or institutional investor. A lot more debt options out there that are a lot cheaper, and probably the most, I think Ben alluded to it, but used to be if you went to get a regular mortgage versus when you came to someone like us, there used to be a very large spread between honestly where we were and where they were. Nowadays, that spread is much, much closer. All of us, our margins are not increasing, so don't think that that's what's happening. Our rates are coming down, and you have 5 people just on this panel and about 15 booths sitting there. So it's pretty easy to keep our rates low when everyone's that competitive right now. So we keep each other honest, not because we love each other, but just the stark reality of business, that's what happens. You get outside of your core market, just be careful. Many of you in your room, your local knowledge is your most powerful advantage. And when you get outside of that core area, it can be a little bit challenging. Another thing I'd encourage you to do is just look in your area and see your home or where you've lived over the last number of years. The price increase you see on Zillow, and it's probably going to see just in the last 9 months, 10% up, 15% up, maybe even 25% up. And I actually think a lot of people are saying, no, there's no opportunity in rental, but you might have to buy at a very tight cap rate right now. But I think rent rates have an enormous upward motion to go here. Yeah, I think it depends on the segment of depending on where you are in your investing career. So if you're in a more looking to acquire portfolio level financing, it's pretty simple. You put together here are my properties, here are my current market rents, here are my expenses, taxes, and insurance, and here's what my experience on occupancy has been. The reality is you call me or Joaquin, we're going to price it out in 24 to 40 hours basically, and it's going to be relatively within a band of reasonability between each other effectively. But with their interest in preparation, how are you organized? Do you have all that data together? If you are a larger investor and you don't have that in an Excel spreadsheet or a property management system to start, it's a little bit, sometimes it's a little bit, what are folks doing? I think over the years you sort of get boxed in. If you do securitization route, you are pretty boxed into where you can be. If you have a little bit more flexible capital, as folks have alluded, whether that's bank capital in Civic's instance or ours, some other sources of capital, institutional funds, you can make different deviations and exceptions more freely, and you can start thinking about more from a common sense basis again, which we're hoping to make our way towards. Particularly on the larger institutional type of folks where that is more of a structure, like Joaquin said, you have to have a conversation, understand people's needs, come up with a solution. That's where that really comes into play. I've been saying for a year, and I'm hoping it's true, is by the end of the year into Q1, hopefully, that you start seeing some more inventory based on some of these states bringing out laws sort of opening up to allow both of these things to happen. Once that does, I don't think there's going to be a flood of inventory like everyone's hoping. It just doesn't seem that that's going to happen, and prices have gone up so high that it seems unlikely folks are going to be foreclosed or have issues like that because average prices are up 25%.